Hello, hello guys. This isn't really my normal type of video. I thought I'd do a little retrospective, so let's just go right into this. Plants vs. Zombies is probably my favorite game. You know, it's the first game I've ever played, believe it or not. I played it on my old family Dell. I got it off of Big Fish Games or something like that. Fun game, loved it. And I actually did a recent playthrough, I'm working on that, but I'm surprised at how underappreciated it is. It doesn't even show up when you search the best games of all time. And here's the thing, despite being a simple game in nature, I definitely think it defined the early 2010s and is pretty much instantly recognized by any person growing up around the game's popularity. Now I'm going to be talking about the work that went into Plants vs. Zombies, why I think it defines the tower defense genre, and why it absolutely holds up today. On a side note, as of this video's release, there are several other games and even a comic series built upon the foundation that the original game set. However, this video is going to be discussing the first game released in 2009. Now, I might do a retrospective on the other games if this is received positively. However, this video is purely dedicated to the first game. So, for the background, Plants vs. Zombies was designed by George Fan, who initially had a previous game release in 2001 titled Insane Aquarium. He got the idea for a tower defense game after playing several Warcraft 3 tower defense mods, and he actually drew inspiration from other forms of media such as Swiss Family Robinson and even Magic the Gathering. While the game was an independent project being created by Fan alone, PopCap actually assembled a team consisting of the composer, Lara Shigihara, a programmer, Todd Semple, an artist, Rich Werner, and even an outside employee who kind of chipped in with writing in-game descriptions and the guide, that being Stefan Notley. Using a dab flash, they began work, and you know the rest is history. But what Fan had in mind here is he wanted to make the game simple. This is really evident with how the plants' name correspond with their kind of role in the game. You know, example, pea shooters shoot projectiles. However, Fan still wanted a sense of strategy, and it shows with some of the plants, you know, having a synergy with other plants. Example, you know, pea shooters in the Torchwood. The Torchwood can't attack zombies, but it increases the damage of the pea shooter. On a side note, this is literally handed to you through the minigame on 3-10, where the only plants you use are Torchwoods and pea shooters. But the game actually throws multiple tips throughout the game. You know, examples being, hell, in the first level, they tell you plant sunflowers to get more sun. Sun is, for anyone that doesn't know, sun is the currency that you use to buy your plants to build your defense. Or not to use mushroom plants during the day because they're asleep and don't attack. Now, this is very straightforward, but I think it definitely works here as there aren't any unanswered questions relating to mechanics or unexplained mechanics. However, I think the simplicity and basic introduction are probably why this game has such good replay value. This game is extremely memorable. Moving on, the soundtrack for this game is amazing, and I do think that it has some hidden meaning behind it. Now, as I mentioned before, Lara Shigihara composed much of the game's soundtrack on her own, straight from scratch, and truthfully, she knocked it out of the park with every tune in the game. I was listening to this, to the game soundtrack, so I had a little brain fart there. I was listening to the soundtrack while editing this, and even while speaking right now. Every song here is amazing. I absolutely love everything here. She borrowed elements from pop culture and chiptune, which by the way is just 8-bit music. Now, before Plants vs. Zombies was actually even in George Fan's mind, he really wanted Shigihara for this because he really liked her work. The thing that makes this soundtrack from Plants vs. Zombies, you know, different from other games, is you know how much diversity there is in the actual soundtrack, which correlates to how each level is structured. You know, for example, let's look at the song they used for the first 10 levels of the game, excluding the 5th, Grass Walk, playing right now. It's a slow tempo song, no swing, and you know it's meant to represent the overall pacing of the level. It's a drum beat, and it's very marchable. It's a marching song, and it makes sense because you know you're not really facing zombies anything difficult. They're just kind of slowly walking at you. You're not dealing with a lot of diversity with difficulty here, and it's relatively easy. And the music really relates to this because it's a slow, you know, crawling paced song. So I think those two kind of go really well with each other. And now's a good time to mention, halfway through each kind of stage, there's a minigame that you play. on 1-5, the first minigame, you play Walnut Bowling, in which walnut seeds come down on a conveyor belt, and you literally use them as bowling balls where the zombies advance. Now, aside from being one of the best levels in the game, it's the change of musical pace that really makes this level memorable. Loon Boon is the official name of the song being used here. You're going to be hearing it now. It's fast-paced, energetic, compared to the slow song we were used to from the previous levels. Now, this concept of changing music to fit the feel is absolutely nothing new. Plants vs. Zombies didn't create the idea. However, compared to other titles, I think Plants vs. Zombies makes it obvious, but with a simple undertone, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Take that how you will. Moving on here. The difficulty of Plants vs. Zombies was up for debate by many critics. GameSpot editor Chris Waters said, "Tower defense veterans will have to endure a lot of simple, familiar action in order to find a real challenge, and the wait may prove too long for some." And while this is a fair statement to remark about the game, I do feel like the lack of curiosity can contribute to not finding the game hard and leaving it at that. There are plenty of kind of unofficial challenges you can apply to yourself, to your game, where you just, you inflict self-proposed rules to make the experience harder. For example, you can try to beat the game with a certain number of plants. You could even try to beat the main adventure without sun. Now, YouTuber Shy Guy Mask actually did that. I'll put a link to his video in the description, but in my opinion, a good game needs to be replayable, difficult, and fun. Plants vs. Zombies checks out all of these. It has a great post-game content with mini-games, survival levels, and you could even replay the main campaign, or adventure as the game calls it. So to kind of round this up here, I think the difficulty of Plants vs. Zombies, it's not really up for debate. It's as hard as you want it to be. It's completely reliant on how you play the game, and personally that just sits right with me and fits perfectly. Now, I know this was a bit of a short one. This wasn't really like a full retrospective 2-hour video, but congratulations, you made it to the end of the vid. This is probably the video I worked hardest on, just writing a script and everything. It's not a very big script, but I appreciate you guys making it to the end. Links for music and Shy Guy Mask's Plants vs. Zombies challenge video. I had a really fun time writing the script for this one, so maybe I'll do it again. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed, liked the vid, shared this, or don't. I mean, the one view is enough. Thank you very much. Have a great day.